everybody, Ben here today, and I thought I would do story time with y'all. We haven't done story time in a long time, and so I thought, well, I might as well tell you some stories. So this is an old story that happened to me, or I don't know. I think I might tell some stories this whole week, but yeah, let's worry about this one right now. So this story happened to me, I think, when I was about 9 years old. And this was in the springtime. This all matters later, so I'm telling you all this information for a reason. It was in the springtime. The day prior, it had been raining a lot. I was home from school, so it might have been spring break, so it would have been March of 2011, because yeah, if I was 9, I would have been in 3rd grade. Or no, March 2012, sorry, March 2012. Yeah, somewhere around there probably. Yeah, I was in 3rd grade from August 2011 to June or May of 2012. So yeah, this would have been probably March 2012, and it would have been spring break, because I remember it was springtime. So the day prior, it had been raining very hard, a lot of rain. And so it was cool it was kind of cool at night, which happens in March. You'll have nights will get a little cold, not freezing, but definitely cold, probably in the 40s. And so that morning, it had been raining all day, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay on focus. Okay, rained a lot the day before and got cold at night, and so the next morning it was very foggy. It was dense fog. I think probably the closest you could see was maybe probably 50 feet, not far. So at this time back then, we used to live in a small gray house that is right next to I'm a Survivor on Morrow Hill. Of course, we lived there for a little while, or no, for 10 years, from 2003 to 2014. Because when I was born in 2002, we used to live in a mobile home down by where Buddy and Steph's house is now. And then we moved to the old gray house, which is where the barn that Bree keeps her animals is in now. There used to be a house there, and it was destroyed after Harvey because of the current and knocked the house off its blocks. So I'm sure you all know a good layout of Morrow Hill. So I was on the swing set, and I'm facing Gigi's house. Like, Gigi's house would be this way, and then I'm a Survivor, Lester's house would be over here, and the driveway on that side, and Kim's would be behind me. And so I was on the swing set, and this was early in the morning, because I've always liked swinging, especially when I was a kid. I used to love swinging. I used to go on my swing, and I've always liked it. So it was early in the morning, went out there and was swinging, and then I was out there for a little bit, and then I heard a howl, like, woo! And I was like, is that a wolf? I don't know if that's a wolf. Maybe it's a coyote. Coyotes have a very shrill howl. Their howl's very shrill. It's like, wow. So it's not like a wolf. A wolf is more deep, like woo, as I just did. So it was a deep howl. I didn't know it at the time. I only looked it up a couple years later, when I was older, and I was only 9 years old at this time. And I mean, of course, it was 2012. We had internet and stuff, but I just didn't bother to look it up. I didn't really care, or I did, but not to the extent. But anyway. So I'm sitting on a swing set, and I think the field that between the woods and between I'm a Survivor is to my left. As I said, if it's to my left, Lester's house or I'm a Survivor was to my left. Back then it was just Lester's house. Of course, it was pre-Harvey, so all that. So it's kind of way off in the distance. It's probably way over in the tree line by RJ's field, or yeah, it was RJ's at the time. RJ's dead now, but y'all get the point. It was way off in the tree line, so it was probably a quarter mile away. It was quite a distance, and there's fences and stuff between. So there was, I didn't care, even if it was a wolf. I'm here, we're fenced in, there's nothing to worry about. And I also another thing, I really want to emphasize, this is really early in the morning. It's right at dawn. This is, of course, also the fog, so it's really dark outside. Or it was really dark. I mean, of course, it was kind of a little bit of light, but the sun was just rising this morning. So this would have been, yeah, 7 a.m. or something, right at sunset. So I keep swinging. I keep swinging. And then I hear it again. Ooh. It's even closer this time. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's just move around the pasture, whatever. And I just keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging. And again, this time's even closer. Ooh, it's howling again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing keeps getting closer. And by this point, it's probably almost a Lester's yard by this point. And I'm thinking, that wolf, I mean, how much? I just assumed at the time it was a wolf. It turns out it was, because, I said the deep howl. I'm like, why is that wolf get so close? Like, just go back in the woods, damn. And I kept swinging, of course. And then again, woo! And I swear, by this point, it's in Lester's yard, or in front of Lester's yard, in front of the the area where I'm a Survivor is in front of, or it's now Ellie and Megan's house. This wolf is like would be where in front of Ellie and Megan's house, maybe by the duck pond. Of course, all that wasn't there back then. This was 12 years ago, or no, 13 years ago almost now. This is February 2025, so it's been almost 13 years ago. So, things were very different back then. Right around this wolf is now probably, honestly, because of course back then it was just barbed wire, and so it's very easy to like go under. And so maybe it was because we had chickens, because we used to have chickens back then, and we had the chickens right at the corner of our yard. So I don't know, maybe it was after the chickens, or it probably thought that there was going to be, it knew we had chickens. I don't know for sure what it was doing, but I was thinking to myself, because this is the thought process going through my head at the time, like, is it true you're chickens? Why is it, what? Why is it so close? Why is it trying to get so close to us? There's nothing other than chickens. There's no reason it should be this close to our yard. And at this time, we had, of course, back then there were two German Shepherds. We had Ollie and we had Atticus. And back then, Ollie and Atticus were young and very strong and healthy. This was, again, 13 years ago. And so the dogs they're like probably on the patio. This is, the patio. This is where Bree keeps her horses now. And they're kind of like looking around. They're like wondering, they're kind of looking, they're looking a little concerned. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna just, I don't know, I was 9 years old, so forgive me for not going back in the house immediately. So I just keep swinging. I'm just like, okay, whatever. This wolf, it's not gonna get in our yard. And again, let me remind you, the fog that morning was insanely thick. So I couldn't see more than maybe like, not very far. Like only maybe 20, 30, 40 feet, maybe 50. Anything further away than 50 feet, just white out. Couldn't see it. It was some of the thickest fog that morning I think I've ever seen. I could barely see my own house. And the house from like where I was swinging is probably from like here. I'm at Longhorn Luscious, by the way. I'm sure y'all can tell. The house from where I'm swinging is probably only from like here to that fence. Only to like the fence, Carl's fence. That's how far away the house was to where I was swinging. And I could barely see my house. My house looked like it was behind like a screen or something. It was very thick fog. That's why I couldn't see the wolf. It was like a perfect morning for this to happen because I couldn't see anything. But anyway, so I just keep swinging. Remember the last time it howled, it was like in Lester's yard. And here we go again. And it was close. This wolf was probably from like where I'm sitting right now to probably this one of these little sheds, one of these awnings. Honestly, that's how far away it was. It was like right there next to me. And I think and it howled loud. Woo! Really loudly. And the dogs, they started freaking out. Ollie and Atticus, they took up and leapt. They ran to the fence. They were barking, barking, barking. And at that point, I'm like, okay, fine. So I just ran inside. And of course, this was my dad might have, I don't know, but I remember running in the house, and my Elijah and my mom and dad, I think, were still in bed. And this was probably like spring break, because I remember I was home. I don't think it was it might have been, it was probably the middle of the week. But I said, yeah, my mom, of course, being a teacher, she would have been home. And I ran in the house still. This was, an off day. Like, yeah, there we go. I just want to make sure the sky looks good. This was an off day. This was just yeah, so everyone was still in bed. I'm sorry. I have a weird thing where I give weird context. But I ran in the house and everyone was still sound asleep. And you could still hear the dogs barking outside. And I went back in my bedroom and I got back in bed. And that really kind of scared me, of course, being a 9-year-old. Now, I don't know if I'd be that scared, especially knowing that there was a fence right there and we had the dogs. But as a 9-year-old, hearing how close that wolf was like, oh my God, that was freaky as hell. And so I got back in bed, and I remember my mom woke up and she was wondering why the dogs are freaking out. And I heard her walk around the kitchen, and she goes outside and she like tells them she could see what's going on. It was daylight. It wasn't like it was nighttime. Or if it was nighttime, I doubt she would have gone outside. But since it was daytime, she walked outside to see what was going on. She thought maybe like some other dog was walking around or something. And she goes outside and she doesn't see anything. Of course, it's really bad fog. And I come in the kitchen. She comes back in the house and she says, I don't know what they're barking at. And I said, I think there's a wolf outside. And she said, what? Why do you think there's a wolf outside? And I said, I was outside swinging earlier and there was a wolf howling. It got real close. And she says, I don't know about that. I think she just didn't believe me. Or I don't even know if she remembers this happening, but I remember this happening, of course. But I guess she probably didn't believe me, of course, me being a 9-year-old, if she probably thought I was making things up, or maybe I thought I was confused or something. But I'm sure in her mind, she probably thought it was another dog. But I know for a fact that was a wolf. It had a wolf's howl. It had that deep howl. It wasn't it wasn't a squealy howl like you're with coyotes. I mean, of course, we're very familiar with coyotes out here. But anyone who knows what a coyote sounds like will know it's like a squealy, high-pitched howl. This was not that. This was a deep howl, like the kind that a wolf would make. And yeah, that was I call that story. I guess we'll call that story "The Wolf Gets Closer," because that's what happened. It was just this wolf that came out of the woods and just started getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And I don't think the wolf was after me. I think it was after our chickens, because from this perspective, like let's say I'm facing, again, I was saying, like if I was on the swing, you face Gigi's in front of me, Kim's house is behind me, you have the driveway to my right, and then you have I'm a Survivor now, or at the time it was Lester's house, Ellie Megan's house to my left. And to my left was the chicken. We had a little chicken coop and a chicken pen. And my assumption is that it was after those chickens. But still, from a 9-year-old's perspective, that was a very strange, very kind of scary event. But I think now, I don't think I'd be that scared, especially being behind fence lines. But still, from my perspective at the time, it was a very crazy, weird thing to go through. But yeah, that's all for today. I just wanted to go ahead and tell you all the story. I mean, I've been telling the story for a long time. That's a weird thing that I went through as a kid. I'll think of some more stuff to tell y'all about, because I have stories to tell about growing up on Morrow Hill. Because I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived there since 2017, so it's been almost 8 years now. March 2017 is when I moved away from Morrow Hill, right before Harvey, thank God. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and probably share y'all some more stories. I'm sure y'all like to hear more stories about what my experience was like growing up there. Especially, from a child's perspective, I have a lot of strange things that, when you're a kid, you see the world very differently than you do when you're an adult, of course. But, especially on Morrow Hill, it's an interesting experience. But I'll probably tell you some more this week. So let me know down below if you would like this, if you want to hear more stories or what you thought about this one. But yeah, I think this is all for today on the Daily Life and Adventures of Ben. Hope you liked this episode. Until next time, and as always, thank you.